Hello, wonderful people. Bonjour. How are you? I don't know why I did that, but yes. Hi and welcome back. So, today I'm going to be talking a little bit about social media and why I've pulled back from it over the last year or so. Early last year, I moved away from social media, and you guys probably noticed I was quite inactive on my channel for a while and not uploading. Like even in the beginning of this year, there was like 5 months where I didn't upload, and it wasn't just YouTube. There were like Facebook. I stopped using Facebook. I stopped using Instagram, and a lot of like, and maybe Instagram I still did stories now and again, but I didn't really post a lot over the last year or so. I just kind of wanted to talk a bit about it because social media is one of those things, you either love it or you hate it, or you're somewhere in between. And I was always kind of someone who advocated for social media because I saw it as a platform and a place to be around other people who were like-minded, a great way to start conversation, a great way to interact with people that you might not see often. And that's kind of why I kept my Facebook around. I kept my Facebook around because I met so many friends all over the world when I traveled, and it made sense to have that because I didn't have everyone's numbers kept changing, but Facebook was a constant in our lives. And you know, all my friends that I'd met all over the world, they all had Facebook, and I had them on Facebook, and I could contact them if I ever needed to. But the problem with Facebook was that I just didn't like using Facebook anymore. I didn't want to post on it. I didn't want to share things on it because I didn't see it as a positive thing. Facebook became a big algorithm, and I kind of just like pulled away from it because it's just like I couldn't see the stuff I wanted and people couldn't see what they wanted from me. So what was the point? And I only just kept it around so I could keep in contact with people. And Facebook just kept trying to find ways to pull people back into the platform, and I didn't like the fact that it was forcing people to use it. That was something I was just not a fan of, and that's not something I believe in. It's not the way it should be. You shouldn't force people to use your platform. You shouldn't force people to come and see content on your platform. It's not. Is it by force? Is it necessary? No. So I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And so I've pulled back from Facebook, and I don't really use it often. I do use it for my channel and, you know, sharing videos, but I don't use it as often for personal posts anymore. There was that. And Twitter, I used to use Twitter before to like kind of not rant, but to like talk about things that happened to me actively while I was out and about, things I noticed. Like recently I tweeted about this experience I had. Like I was going to the bank, me and Kyle were adulting and I was going to the bank, and I was on my way to go and get a proof of address from my bank, and I was walking to the bank. These guys, like these 3 guys, were standing in front of me, and they were just walking really slow. They just come out of the bookies, which is like a gambling shop, like some gambling shop, and they were drunk, and it's like 4 p.m. in the afternoon, like 3 p.m, 3:30. And they just come out of the shop, and they were like walking really slow. They were like these 3 white guys, and they were walking really slow in front of me. And I was like, all I needed to do was get to my bank, which was just there. It was like 5 meters away. It was really close. And I was like, okay. So I slowed down so that they could just go, and so I can, and they were talking to each other and like really drunkly. And then one of them just like walks like past me, like he's there in front of me. One just walks across, the one that's right here on my far right. He walks across around me, and he like literally puts his arm around me, grabs me by the shoulder. Like, you know when you sling your arm over someone that maybe you're dating, like say me and Kyle were walking, and he'll like put his arm around me. This guy did this, right? And he grabbed my shoulder and he like pulled me towards him. And I'm like, and I was like, I thought he was gonna let go. He didn't. And as I was moving to push him away, like as I was moving, he pulled me even tighter, and I literally grabbed his finger. I guess maybe he was on this side, because I remember grabbing his finger from here or here, I don't know. But anyways, I grabbed his finger and I bent it back like as hard and as fast as I could before he figured out what was happening. He like yelped, and then he like stalked off, like whatever, making sounds, and his friend's like, oh my god, you hurt him, you hurt him. I was like, I sure hope I did, and I hope it keeps hurting. Like, don't just grab a stranger in the street. Like, I was flabbergasted. Like, I had no words. And it's like, I just didn't know how to really like I was just so mad. Like, I was so mad. I was getting into the bank and I'm shouting at these guys as they're walking past, right, as I'm going into the bank to go and get my proof of address. And I was just so mad. Like, why would you do that? Why would you think that was okay to just grab a stranger and like grab a stranger? do they not understand this is London? And they were for sure like Londoners. Like he sounded like he had like a full-on English accent. So he was a Londoner. Like I was just mortified. But anyways, yeah, that happened, and I kind of like was like ranting a bit about it. I just like, this is what happened. I was like talking about it on Twitter, and other people, oh my god, wow, that's crazy, you know. And I was just like, you know, and I was so happy I had that outlet, because I wasn't meeting Carl for like another, I don't know how long, and so he was doing something else at the time, and I was just like, I needed someone to tell this to not feel like I was alone in this moment, and you know, other people were there on Twitter, and that kind of like consoled me. And so that's kind of like what Twitter's always been for me. It's kind of been a way to kind of speak about things that are happening currently for me in my life and in general. And so I like Twitter for that, but I haven't used it as much because I've just in general not really, I don't know, just not felt like sharing things that are happening. And so I kind of stopped using Twitter for a while too. I've only recently got back into it. Instagram, Snapchat, used to use, don't use at all. Like they changed it, and I was like, it was a no. That's what you get. If they wouldn't have changed it, I probably still may use it, but no. Tumblr I used to use to share things also that was happening, and just kind of like share my videos and share like experiences and listen to other people's experiences, look at pictures, ideas for hairstyles and like random stuff. And I stopped using that too, because I just didn't see the point of it all, you know. And Instagram was the last one. Instagram was kind of the one that I enjoyed the most out of all of them, the one I kept using to the end. And in the end, I felt like the feed was just not positive for me. The feed, it just kept feeding me only things that I clicked on like, or the only things that I clicked that I like, it would continue to feed those things to me. It wouldn't show me everything else that was happening. It wouldn't show me the people I wanted to see, and it turned into a big algorithm like Facebook, obviously, because funnily enough, they're owned by the same company. But yeah, so that really kind of bothered me, and I felt like Instagram was turning into Facebook, and I didn't want to be a part of it. And so I kind of pulled back from that too. And I slowly have gotten back into it, because it kind of goes hand in hand with YouTube and in social media. You kind of need both. You need both of them, basically. You can't just use YouTube on its own. Well, you could, but social media always helps. And so I've had to kind of delve back into social media, and I realized that I don't know if I really like that. I kind of really enjoyed a time where I stopped using it. There was a moment where my life was kind of peaceful. I was just creating art, I was writing, and I was living in the moment and being very mindful of everything that I was taking in. And I think as soon as I started using social again, I just felt like I was not always bringing in the best things, and there's a lot of negativity online that you can unconsciously pick up. It's kind of like why I don't watch the news, because it's the negativity of things that you can't change, and the negativity that you don't know that is affecting you. And I want to know what's happening in the world, but if it's really important, I will find out about it without watching the news. But having to go on there and only see negative things, it was not cool. And I hate it. When I was at home, my parents watched the news, so I have to watch it, but I do not watch the news at my home. I don't watch TV at my home. TV is another thing that I thought was a bit of a waste of time. It was just a pit that you're throwing your time into and not getting anything back from. But yeah, social media, I've pulled back from it, and I've recently been using it again, but I feel like I liked life better without like overuse of it. And I just kind of want to talk about this and see what your thoughts are. What are your feelings on social media? Are there any that you won't touch? Are there any that you think negatively affect you? And I feel like Facebook is the one that I really despise. I can't lie, I hate Facebook so much. Like, if I could delete all my Facebook accounts, I would. Just. And honestly, it's not by force that I use it. It's not necessary for my life that I use it. You have to use it to promote anything, because at the end of the day, it just frowns upon you for doing that anyway. So what's the point of having it? If people really want to find you, they will find a way to find you, right? Like, it's not necessary for me to have Facebook, but it's just been there for so long. I feel like I don't want to just get rid of it, but maybe I should, because I don't see it as anything positive in my life. I just see it as a way of keeping in contact with people. Do you like Facebook? What are your thoughts on Facebook? And which social medias do you like the most? And how do you feel about using social media? I ask because sorry, that was a cough that was waiting to come out. I ask because I ask because I've always been curious about how people feel about social. I see a lot of people use it a lot and I'm like, how do you feel when you don't use it? Do you feel better? Do you feel worse? Because I feel so much better when I'm just off the grid a little bit, and it's something that I found that I could easily do in Canada, where people weren't so social media focused, but coming home to the UK where people use it a lot, I feel like I'm forced to really get back into it and use it to interact with all my friends and all that. And it's just like, do I really want it? You know, it's like WhatsApp, do I really want it? Because I feel like I have to respond to all these messages immediately. I have to respond to comments and like all of that. And it's a lot when you have a lot of socials. Like, I feel like I need to knuckle down and just to get rid of the ones that are not bringing me joy and, you know, say bye. Are there any that you've said bye to? I'm curious. Please comment below and let me know your thoughts on the social sphere of things and where you see it going, because I feel like people are going to start pulling away from social, or some social medias. I think some are gonna die like high five. I hope they do. I hope they crash and burn. I shouldn't say that, that's bad. I hope for any company to fail, but a company that doesn't bring positivity or anything good to the world doesn't deserve to be around. That's my thoughts on that. No, I don't know. This was just kind of like a discussion on social and why I've stopped using it as much, and why you may see that I may depart from it a bit coming very soon. Until then, I don't know what this is. I don't know why. It's just kind of like a talk. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. It's my final day of the 30-day challenge. There are other videos that I wanted to film and didn't get a chance to just because of timing, but I will film those over the course of the coming month or the time after that. But yeah, I'll get around to those videos eventually. Thanks for watching. Feel free to give this a thumbs up, comment below on your thoughts on social media. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow. Annyeong.